The Pekka BoBat is one of the best attack strategies in Clash of Clans, especially for the single attack format wars, really because it is just so reliable. You will be able to get the 2 stars relatively comfortable, and it is still incredibly strong in order to help you get 3 stars. We actually seen this throughout the competitive ESL Mobile Open, and by the way guys, tomorrow is the final of that event. We have OneHive and Noble Nines. They are going to be competing at DreamHack Atlanta. It's a huge event. If you guys want to catch that, you don't want to miss any of the live action, I'm sure you will see this strategy along with a bunch of others. I will be sure to link that down in the description of this video so that you guys can find it, help you with your attack strategies. You'll see the best of the best. OneHive won in Season 1 and they are trying to do it again here in Season 3. But for the Pekka BoBat, why exactly do you want to use it? And by the way guys, I actually have a replay of the Pekka BoBat used in the ESL Mobile Open. I will be sure to showcase that one to you at the end of this video so that you can get to see it used in action in competitive play. But for this one, it's really about being able to mitigate a lot of the splash damage so that the bat spells can do their job. So we have 2 multi-infernos down to the south here, which will be the initial target, breaking in and taking them out. You might have seen in the video I did recently where we discussed the drag bat attack strategy. The bat spell deployment is relatively similar for that strategy, and this one, what you're looking for is areas of the base where you can get good value and mitigate the splash easily. Here we have a multi-inferno and a wizard tower. However, because they're both placed together, it really just acts like a single splash damage because you can use one freeze spell to get rid of both of them. So that is a good place to use the bat spells. Over to that left hand side, Wall Wrecker will push all of the way through to the town hall, meaning that we're taking all of the splash here to the south of the base and through into the center. It's really just that left hand side we have to worry about with the bats. And look at the trash buildings down to the bottom here as well. So easy to create a funnel. You really don't have to think that much about it. So in this one, Bigger Daddy of CruncHTime uses the regular Pekka to funnel into his own attack. Whenever you can do that and use the troops that you're going to use in the main push as part of that funnel, you always want to try and do that. Now the king is used to the left hand side. He's going to power right the way down here, set the funnel on the outside of the base. One, it's very good because with his ability, he can just take out so much on the outside of the base. But he can also steal the healers potentially, and you will see where that becomes an issue as we move through this video. I do have an example. I'm not sure if it's this attack, but it's definitely one of them that is coming up. However, healers do more healing onto troops, so you want the healers on the Pekka, not on the king. Wall Wrecker punching through here, and because the enemy queen locks onto the Wall Wrecker, and we need to get through this layer of wall, we don't have any jump spells here, so we've got to open up as much of the base as possible. We have to use the Grand Warden's ability. Not necessarily a bad place to use it either. There's 2 multis, there's bomb towers, enemy queen, so there's a lot of damage there as well. You don't always have to use that on the town hall, especially if you're coming from the opposite side of the base and you're not going to hit the town hall until last. Did any of you guys see that? If you didn't, rewind back just like 10 seconds. The bowler bounced to the town hall. I don't necessarily think that was planned. If it was incredibly clutch, but able to hit the bowler bounce from the clan castle to the town hall. If you have a high HP building that you can bounce off and hit the town hall or a dangerous defense after that, then that is perfect. As the troops start to steer off to the right, the plan would have always been to use the drag bat to the left-hand side, not the drag bat, the bat spells. I've got the drag bat on my mind. By the way, if you do want to see that video, we broke it down, similar format to this, but explained why the dragons were beneficial. I will be sure to link you to that at the end of this video, and it will be linked in the pinned comments. But one freeze spell gets rid of both of the splash damages here, and this is an area where you would want to use a bat bomb method, which is basically putting the bats in one spot. That's if you are hitting two splash damages together, because you need them down ASAP, and that's where the rage spell comes in as well. Now, one thing you do need to take note of is where the town hall is. You have to ensure that that is basically down before the bats come in, because it will shred the bats and they have no chance at getting through it. The bats are still alive here. We've got no other splash damages, so they can slowly just chip through the defenses, although the wizard tower over to the left did get one hit on the bats, and that's actually what slowed them down. However, right now is a perfect example as to why this strategy is still very high up in the meta. We have the 2-star safe in the bag, 90%. Even if we didn't get the 3 here, it's a very comfortable strategy for the Clan War Leagues, for that competitive play like the ESL Mobile Open. However, you've got a good chance of the 3-star. By the way, guys, if you're new to my channel, you want to see daily Clash of Clans videos, be sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell, most importantly, so you do not miss out. Now, this is where it gets hairy, guys. Grand Warden goes down and the Pekka have to punch through the walls to get to the Tesla. Quick pro tip here, what you can do is some people will opt to take 1 or 2 balloons to sneak in here, would be great. But actually what clutched this attack is using the wizards to clean up so that the Pekka could focus on the defenses. Let's move across to another attack in order to break this down further. I wanted to quickly throw this one in here. This is the Pekka smash attack strategy. I thought it would be useful just to briefly discuss the differences between this and the Pekka BoBat. We will be sure to move back to that for the next attack, and then like I said, for the final one of the video, I will be sure to highlight and explain the attack from the ESL Mobile Open. So for the Pekka smash, it's basically the same thing, but you are not using bat spells to finish off the back end of the base. Now, why exactly would that be? Well, it can be for a few different reasons. One of them could just be personal choice, to be honest with you. Another could be that the splash damage is well spread around the base, which you could argue it very much is in this one. The wizard towers and the multi-infernos, you could not freeze with a single freeze as you could in the first attack. So whenever you can freeze 2 splash damages with 1 freeze spell, then that's not necessarily good base design. This one you can't do that, and also it depends how many spells you are committing to the initial push of the attack. So Steph comes in with the Queen Walk over to the left hand side. Very good, because the Queen Walk can actually funnel the buildings on the inside as well, meaning that Bowler come into the center, because bowlers, being a ranged troop, have a good chance of walking. Not necessarily the Pekka, but the bowler can walk around the outside. Now we're going to use 2 jump spells in this one, so already 2 jump spells, a rage spell. Probably going to be using a rage spell in the center. I mean, not necessity, but yes, you most likely want to use a rage in the center whenever you're using a Pekka smash or a Pekka BoBat. Already you're thinking, I don't really have many spells for the bat portion, and you probably want some freeze spells for that bat portion as well. So your spell slots are basically taken up. So you've got to make sure you get that value. A nice touch here is using the jump spell just to the left hand side of these walls to make sure that the bowler and Pekka come into this compartment, ensuring not to open up this compartment to the right, because the bowlers can reach both of these buildings from here, but if they jumped into this compartment, then it's a little bit trickier and you just don't get that nicer path straight through. They might be tempted to walk, and it means that the next jump spell can just suck all of the troops into that area a little bit easier. So as they come forward, again, you can reach most of the buildings from here. What you're looking for with a Pekka Smash is when you get the bowler into the center, they can wipe out majority of that dangerous damage in the center in the side of that one rage spell. The eagle went down, all of the expos went down, clear access straight up to that next multi. Could, if there was enough bat spells, deploy them down the bottom here and wave up through the top. But again, I think it's more to do on spell deployment for this one. Use the rage for the queen walk, the 2 jump spells and the rage for the center. Got amazing value from it, just didn't leave any spells left for the bat portion. A good use, though, in order to help support this, is the Slammer and Balloons, for the exact reason that you're seeing now. The Stone Slammer, as I've mentioned in a bunch of my videos recently, can be used to cut off the funnel in one area of the base. It can be used to tank for itself and then just essentially get through because it has enough HP. And when you have balloons inside, you can then haste them to get through a huge area of the base. Again, coming down to the end of it, Pekka's still alive. You don't want to time fail, so that's where having minions or wizards can be helpful, and you don't want to mess around in terms of getting your troops deployed. Pekka Smash, you can time fail, or the Pekka BoBat, but you can also use the Grand Warden Walk in order to set things up if you are confident on time, and I'm going to show you that in the next attack here. Let's skip through the rest of this one because we're purely just cleaning up buildings, and let's move to the next attack. So we have Yon of CruncHTime. This was in our CWL Elite 25 versus 25 perfect war against Costa Rica Drak. If you're interested in joining CruncHTime, you can check the link in the description where you can find my Discord, and you'll find everything you need to know from there. Now for this one, remember what I said, using the Pekka BoBat from the opposite side of the base to the town hall tends to be the best option. That's just because you can get the most value out of your wall wrecker. However, you've got to have a plan B if it is a single attack format war. You might not want to come all the way across the base like this because the bats cannot be used. For example, let's just start the attack and I'll finish my point here. A Lava Loon attack or a Queen Charge Miners. If the first phase of the attack goes pear-shaped, you can still very easily alter the attack, just push in from the town hall side and save the 2-star. You can't do that with the Pekka BoBat because the bats just won't take it out. So you need a plan B. For a lot of people, that is holding on to a bunch of troops, or if you're not using the wall wrecker to get into the base, holding on to the slammer can be useful. The Grand Warden Walk, we also seen this in the drag bat video, which I'll link at the end, but the Grand Warden is, as I mentioned in that first attack, a troop which is going to come into the base itself. So using him to funnel means that you've essentially got a free funnel. Now, whilst that all sounds well and good, why would you not do that all of the time? Look at the timer on the attack. The Grand Warden can be slow, and sometimes it's worth committing troops in order to get the funnel done quicker. But because he has a great range, he takes out this entire area, and just putting a Pekka into his aura and into that area means that he will be drawn in to be a healer. Essentially, as soon as he is within the space of them troops, as soon as you know he will be healing them, you can pull him across once he's set up that funnel. Wall wrecker coming through. Key point to notice here as well is that the walls are not maxed level. That is huge. Let's have a look at the wall wrecker here, because as it comes through, only 2 shots are required to get through a non-maxed wall. If the wall is just that 1 level higher, then it requires an extra hit. So 3 hits to get through it. Again, if I pause very briefly before the bats come in here, we've got the core of the base gutted, which is everything that you want from the Pekka Smash, Pekka BoBat. You need the Pekka into the core with the bowlers, and you need that wiped out with the use of that rage spell as well. Now if we look at the splash, we've got 1 multi to the right, 2 wizard towers to the left. Yes, they are tanked by the Pekka. However, look at all of the point defense over to this area as well. And that's where the bats will get the most value. So freezing the multi and then taking that out means that the bats can then spread quite easily here. They get the Expo, the Archer Tower, air defense, move down to this Tesla farm, which is huge and very nicely timed to just about get the town hall before they start getting wiped out too much, the bats that is. And I like the use of the freeze spell here, which was in the army composition for any splash, but to use on the Tesla farm, because basically the Tesla farm can wipe out the bats very quickly. I've actually tried an attack previously where I've put the bats in an area at the start of the raid in order to create pathing, and there's been a Tesla farm there. My bat bomb method hasn't worked. Has that happened to you? I'm sure it probably has. Again, this is a common theme that you may or may not see unless the attack literally goes flawlessly. You may see this coming down to the end of it, where your troops have gone down, but the Pekka, the Queen, just slowly move through the base and get the job done. Let's move to the ESL Mobile Open attack so that you guys can see how this attack is done in the single attack format and when it really matters, getting a place to dream hack Atlanta. Here is the final attack of the video then, getting it done in the ESL Mobile Open. This was Wally Dragon King of system-wide swap. Unfortunately, they did not make it through the playoff rounds. If you subscribe to the ESL Mobile Twitch channel or YouTube channel, you will be able to see when any of these live streams go out. They actually stream a lot of the playoff and qualifying rounds, but it's time for the big final. Tomorrow, be sure to tune in order to see OneHive versus Noble Nines. You'll get to see the meta right now in the game's single attack format. I'm pretty confident you will see at least a Pekka, Smash or BoBat attack. In this one, coming in from the north of the base again, using the wall wrecker to its advantage, not getting no value from it. Once the bowler are in the center, the rage spells are used incredible value in order to get the bounce through them buildings and not rushing on the bat spells. Basically, you want to ensure that the heart of the base, like I said, the core is down and you're onto the town hall. You don't want the bats getting anywhere near that town hall because they will get wiped out. Pops them down to the south of the base on the wizard tower, and one thing I haven't shown so far up until now is the use of that ice golem to 6 o'clock in order to tank the wizard tower. What that means is that the wizard tower will not be hitting the bats. I showed you using the freeze spell in order to freeze the splash damages, but using the ice golem is a very nice touch because even if it goes down, then you can still get the freeze effect from it. Now this one is not even close on time. The bats are still alive. You've got the Queen only now popping the ability, Pekka around the base, wizards in order to clean up as well. Beautiful example here, and this is a lot of what you can expect to see in the grand final. I'm super pumped about it. Anytime there's high level esports for Clash of Clans, I'm definitely excited. If you want to see the Drag Bat video, it's on your screen now.